Good morning, everyone. We have been receiving a couple of inquiries from our clients over the last few days, and they like to understand how do they really build their wealth and assets systematically through real estate. And today's topic, I'd like to touch on a very important point, and why is it important to swap properties for better capital gains. So without further ado, I actually prepared a couple of case studies that I did over the last span of the 14 years in real estate industry. Okay, before we start, we like to look at one of the typical cases that I've assisted in 2011. This client of mine stayed in a 5-room flat in Sengkang, block 223C, and in that point of view, right, we managed to sell off the flat at $520,000. So in 2019, right, I relooked this data again. A similar unit in block 223C, a much more higher floor, was sold at only $475,000. So notice that there's actually a difference of $45,000 in this span from 8 years' time. And the next thing you like to notice is the longer you stay, right, the lesser value your HDB would be. So let's look at this client of mine who actually successfully sold their house in 2011 at $520,000. Because the family was actually staying in Sengkang, I actually brought them to buy a brand new condominium called the Luxury. And then back then in 2011, right, they moved into this brand new condominium in Sengkang area. And in 2019, I revisited them and advised them to cash out this profit, which amounted to close to $271,000. So let's look at the total profit made by this client of mine. Okay, so within the short span of 2011 to 2019, right, the first thing when they sold their HDB out, they actually gained a technical $45,000 versus their neighbors who sold them a much higher floor unit in 2019. So this $45,000, they pocketed this in 2011. Subsequently, they stayed in this condominium for the next 8 years, and they liquidated it off at a $271,000 gain. So combining the total profit made is actually $316,000. So this short span of 8 years time, you have the option of holding a HDB flat, but you risk having seen the value drop, or you can actually swap this property for better capital gains. So in this client of mine, actually make this much amount of money just by swapping their HDB to a private condominium and subsequently selling it. So the next case study I'm going to touch on is another 5-room flat in District 19 Punggol area, where we have receiving quite a lot of inquiry from this area as well, because of the pent-up demand of BTOs that has reached 5 years NOP, so on and so forth. Okay, so let's look at one of my clients that I served in 2011, block 161B. This is on a relatively high floor. We sold it off the flat like $500,000. And just this year as well, in the March, right, I relooked the case study again and found that the similar unit on a much lower floor only concluded at $393,000. Look at the capital loss, that was around $107,000. And because this client actually loves Punggol as well, we advised this client to buy a brand new condominium called River Isle in 2011. And this client stayed there for exactly 9 years as well. So you see the same period of time, the 9 years, if you were to stay in a HDB and manage to sell off 500,000 in 2011 versus 2020 at 393,000, which one would you choose? So this client of mine actually took this leap of faith and move on. So they gained 107,000, the difference between the selling price of 2011 and 2020. And next, when they moved into this condominium, right, having stayed for the next 8 to 9 years, I saw a capital gain as well, and I advised them to liquidate this. So the total profit gain is actually close to $367,000. Okay, the next one I'm going to talk about is the private condominium. This is in District 3. Okay, so this Queens was actually a very much more old condominium. This client of mine approached us from Facebook marketing, and at the same time, at the point of time, right, there was this Commonwealth Tower that was launching. So let's look at how this thing works. Okay, so you see that the Queen appreciated from 2011 to 2014 period and remains stagnant from 2015 onwards. Whereas in the same period of time, right, the Commonwealth Towers, right, has this price appreciated one more time. Let's look at these case studies. Okay, so this client of mine actually liquidated his so-called condominium in the Queens at $135,000 profit. Okay, the holding period is actually from 2010 to 2014. Subsequently, I asked them to use this money and buy the Commonwealth Tower, which they subsequently sold off at 308,000. So I'm going to put this data together. You can see that these two data together when compared, this client easily make close to $500,000 already just by swapping an old condominium into a brand new one and sell it off in the next 5 years. The second example I like to do for you is actually in District 19 as well, in Sengkang Fernview area. Okay, so H2O appreciates from 2012 to 2015 period. And I noticed that in 2016 onwards, right, price has remained stagnated. At the same period of time, right, there's this condominium called High Park Residences, where it was launched almost much more lower than that of a H2O condominium. Let's look at the case studies again. Okay, so the profit made from my client from 2011 to 2015, right, holding a H2O condominium was actually $148,000. So when they actually recycle this money into the next condominium, High Park Residences, they make this amount of money as well, 234. Okay, so let's come back to here again. Why is swapping of properties important? You can actually buy one property and stay forever. But those clients who like to build their assets and well systematically, right, actually adopt this plan of mine. I call swapping properties for better capital gains. And there are a lot of case studies that I've done over the past few years. So without further ado, I'd like to actually end this very quick session. If there's any inquiry, I welcome you to contact us or visit either of our website and pen your inquiry, and we'll be there to guide you. See you around. Take care and all the best.